From what you guys have said, it seemed like if you were in the class and you were LGBTQ or you changed to identify as LGBTQ, that you felt as if they got special treatment.
Oh yeah, they were treated like royalty in the class.
Let's talk about that a little bit more. So how did you, because are you guys both straight? Were you straight in the 7th grade class, all of that? So from your perspective, can you just tell me how that would manifest? Like, why did you feel like they were getting special treatment?
Well, it would be like her little group that sat closest to her. She would always talk with them. They would always get called on in class. You know, they could have their phones out if they wanted, play games, whatever. Basically do whatever they wanted.
She claimed that I was unhealthy for the environment. I was creating an unsafe environment because there were viewpoints that I would like point out. I was like, hey, you're using that to get attention from the teacher, and she didn't like that. Said that I was transphobic.
Who called you transphobic?
Champion.
Your teacher called you a 7th grader transphobic?
Yeah. Yeah, and she said that I was like having toxic masculinity, stuff like that.
Did she call you transphobic and accuse you of toxic masculinity in front of other students?
Yeah, it was, so there was a particular student who ended up becoming trans, and they would change their gender back and forth like weekly, and I misgendered them once, and that's kind of when it started, was then.
Wow, so by accident, because it had gone back and forth so much.
Yes.
She called you transphobic. How were you treated after the teacher in the class labels you a transphobe? Did that cause other people to treat you differently?
That whole group like outed me, didn't want to talk to me, didn't want anything to do with me. So, yeah.
Bullying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Could you see that happening as well, Rory?
Definitely. Yeah. We weren't allowed to sit where they sat because we were homophobic and everything like that, because we were straight. I personally identify as a Christian, and because of that, I was automatically homophobic, even though I'd known most of these people since kindergarten, 1st grade.
Was the bullying ever happening in front of Miss Champion?
Oh yeah,
and
she encouraged it.
What do you mean encouraged it?
Oh, she would put in her own little 2 cents into it, and she really wouldn't stop it or anything.
So if the bullying was happening from the LGBTQ students, it was just fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it happened the other way around, they were homophobic and they were outcasts in the classroom.
So, you know, you've talked about kind of like looking back and feeling like you were bullied and excluded because you weren't gay or weren't trans. How has that experience stuck with you through the years since?
So I have a lot of issues as far as if a group of people has a disagreement with me, I kind of freak out about it and have like a whole bunch of anxiety because of it, because it reminds me of back then from when everybody seemed like they were against me. So yeah, it's very anxiety inducing.